okay, I don't know. Look, I tell a lot of sex jokes, but I was a fucking, I didn't come into my own for a long time. Like, I didn't used to look like this. I was a fucking loser for my entire, like, high school and into my 20s. This is how, everybody's like, everybody's a loser in high school, everybody's a loser in college. In my early 20s, before I ever did stand-up, I worked a corporate job. This is how fucking weird I was. I worked a corporate job, and every week, I would dress according to a theme that I set for myself, one of which was equestrian. Imagine the weirdo who you work with walking in Monday morning. I wasn't even a horse girl. I just became a horse woman. I took the Ralph Lauren polo logo, literally. Imagine the weirdo you work with walking in on Monday wearing a blazer, turtleneck sweater, tight pants, knee-high boots combination. Yeah? Imagine you'd be like, bet the loser doesn't even know she looks like a jockey. Tuesday, she walks in, new combination of that same outfit, blazer, turtleneck, tight pants, knee-high boots. You're like, maybe she does know. Wednesday, she comes in, new combination. You're like, did I miss an email? Thursday, you're ready for it. You're like, what's the blazer gonna be? Friday, at that point, you want to be a part of it. You're like, but you can't be seen. You're like, I've been so invested in this, but you can't be seen to be keeping track of the office weirdos' outfits for 5 days. And so you just leave a tiny little horse figurine right on her desk to say, I see you. Then Monday rolls around. The next Monday, she comes in. She's not wearing that outfit anymore. She's just wearing a Scandinavian ski sweater. I genuinely do not know why that line gets a laugh, because in Minnesota, that's such a normal thing to wear. It gets a laugh every single time, and I'm always like, don't know why. It's not funny to me. And then Tuesday, she walks in wearing a light blue dress, and you're like, Scandinavian ski sweater, light blue dress. Are we doing every character from Frozen? We are so back. I'm in. Friday, I'll be Olaf. I just say this to say, remember that those two themes are real themes that a real person standing in front of you, walked into a real Target headquarters in Minneapolis, a real corporate office, okay? I was a fucking weirdo. I didn't have sex in high school, and when in case you can put that together, and when I was a 2-time national champion in college speech and debate, which is the only time that you become more of a loser from literally winning. And when I went to college, my mom gave me the best sex talk I've ever heard. She said, when you go to college, you're probably gonna have sex, and you're probably gonna like it. It doesn't tend to be the kind of thing that people try once and say, not for me. Which is very much the once you pop, you can't stop of sex talks. And my mom made one rule for me. She said, I'm only making one rule, and that is that you have to use 2 forms of protection so you don't have to worry about getting pregnant. And for a long time in college, I did use 2 forms of protection. I used condoms and not having sex. And I didn't get pregnant. And I had all these little water balloons around my dorm room. And fun little detail there, okay. But then a couple years into college, I got my first college boyfriend, and I was like, okay, I think we're gonna have sex soon. And so I started to prepare. And preparing meant that I read all of the articles. Do you know what articles I'm talking about? The ones, you know what articles I'm talking about, the ones where you're like, wait, I'm supposed to put an ice cube in my mouth at the same time as Does he like that? Okay, sure, all right, whatever, okay, nice. Okay. Move my hands in opposite directions at the same time. Okay, I think I got that. Men who fuck women, if you have ever had a woman do something weird in bed out of nowhere, sort of where you're sort of like, what the fuck's going on here? It is because she read an article that said that you wouldn't like her for just who she is, and that she had to learn to do something like. So I read my little articles, I got my little preparations, and then it was time to choose my second form of protection. Condoms, sure. What's the next thing? At the time, I was a little fucking loser. I was terrified of all drugs, including pharmaceuticals. And so I used a diaphragm. Has anyone in here ever used a diaphragm? Yes? You say yes? Okay, I love you, I feel bonded to you. We are not the same generation. And birth control is not something where you want to go vintage. You don't want somebody to be like, this technology was invented in the 1880s. You're like, okay, all right, fine, give me something. But here's the thing, so you know what a diaphragm looks like. If anybody else does not know, a diaphragm, it looks like one of those little pop cap toys that you set on a table and you press and it goes flying into the air that you give to kids with ADHD. You know what I'm talking about? It looks exactly like one of that, but it's like a little bit bigger. And so you have to get that thing inside your body. And of course, the way you do that is you set it on the floor and you press it. And then you just gotta wait, because you never know when those things are gonna... That's how it works. You don't know? It's how, okay, you know how, it doesn't look like that though, am I right? In that, yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay, that's not how you get it in, but it is what it looks like. It's like one of those, but bigger. You flip it upside down, you make the pop cap into a bowl, okay? And then you fill the bowl with spermicide, which both looks and smells like synthetic cum, in sort of a neither can live while the other survives situation. Then you have to get this bowl filled with goo inside your body. And of course, the way you do that is you now have to fold it. And it's difficult, it's rubbery, it's slippery, it's a horrible... Have you ever tried to get an air mattress back in the original bag? Now imagine doing that covered in cum. So you fold it, you get this horrible little grip around it. Now, the next step is you now have to fist yourself to a depth that is going to make penetrative sex disappointing. What you are doing here is you are making the appetizer better than the main course, okay? You're about to have to say, sorry babe, I filled up on bread. Then, once you get it in, once it's all the way back, you hold still, and then you let it go, and it pops open like a drywall anchor. That thing's strong, that thing's in there. You can hang a flat screen TV off that thing. I have not gotten to the worst part of it yet. Okay, also, so you do all of that. And here's the thing, also if you're wondering where is the boy in all of this, he's on the bed trying to stay hard, while I'm over in the corner being like, don't look at me! And so I learned to not do that right before sex because that ruins the mood, that kills the vibe. What that does, that creates the wrong energy. That creates the vibe of like, hey, I already took the door off the hinges, you're gonna get the couch in just fine. That is not the vibe that you want to create right before sex. And so I learned to do it early, but the problem is the spermicide only lasts for 1 hour. And if you don't know how spermicide works, it works the same way as any other icide, okay? The insecticide, pesticide, homicide, whatever, something's dead at the end of it, okay? So I would put it in, and then all of a sudden, I have now cast myself in the weirdest episode of 24 that you have ever seen. I'm now like, I have to get fucked in the next 59 minutes and 59 seconds. So then I'm always texting my boyfriend like, hey, how's the Call of Duty game gonna last? So then we have the sex. The sex is bad. I still have not gotten to the worst part of it yet. The sex is bad. Of course it was bad, because anyone using a diaphragm is not reading the Kama Sutra. And so then, after sex, I now have to get this thing out. And this thing is suctioned. It is up there. It is like a boot in mud. Can you picture that? Right? Can you ever rev your tire and it just goes deeper and deeper and deeper? You know what I'm talking? It is in there so deep that if I have to get this out, I have to use one of those hooks that Egyptians used to pull the brains out of a mummy. I pull it out and I can hear the spermicide working. I can feel it. It's burning their little faces off. All the sperm are like, Mama! And I'm like, never! And I still have not gotten to the worst part of it yet because I am doing all of that while he is... All of gender inequality can be boiled down to one thing, and that is that after men come, you get to fall asleep. You think I don't want to be a fucking sleep? Of course I do. Look at me. Think about all of that. You never had to think about any of that. Men get to experience the #1 physical pleasure, orgasm, and then the #2 physical pleasure, sleep. And then I, a woman, not what you've done. I am there just cleaning up your mess, and that is not what Natasha meant when she said, feel the rain on your skin. Thank you so